is in the air, but we all know money does not grow on trees. So if you are planning a pop-up wedding on a budget, Monique Taylor Yee Shui is here to help you save with some easy and really gorgeous DIYs for the big day. Hey Mo, what's DIY number one for us?
Hey Tracy, we are making this beautiful rustic cake topper, which is super easy to make. I mean, I have my naked cake here, which is super trendy with wedding cakes these days with our flowers. And so now we have our gold cake topper that we can just go ahead and stick right in, and you are good to go. So I am going to show you how to make that first.
Well, that is so cute. Okay, here's what you need. You need a paper and pencil, craft wire, 8 to 12 gauge, pliers, wire cutters, and possibly some edible spray paint. Okay, how do we start, Mo?
First, you want to start off with your text, right? So I'm using the word love here. I did J and my initials as well. I have this one here, which I did Mr. and Mrs. But we're going to start off with love. And what I find is super helpful is if you have beautiful handwriting, go ahead and put those calligraphy skills to work and write out the words that you want to use. Or you could just find a font that you like, a scripted font I would suggest using as well. Go ahead, get that printed off, and that is going to be your pattern essentially that you will follow. So I already got a head start on it. And so as you can see, I'm kind of following along with the script of the word love. And so just go ahead. This is a 12 gauge wire that I'm using. It's a brass. It's very actually easy to bend around, so it makes it super easy to work with. And so then you go ahead and you follow along with the letters until you start making your word. So there, you know, I just made my V, so I have a L-O-V, and then I'm going to do the E. And so with the E being a little bit more complex, right, you have that curve in there, that's where you can go ahead and get some pliers. And then you go ahead, so there we go, we have our love, our E is completed there. And then all you got to do is just wrap that around, kind of doing like a little swoop underneath the word, and then you kind of straighten that out. And then there you go. And then if you decide to use, for example, you can't find the brass crafting wire, you could also use the silver, but then you get the edible spray paint in the color of your choice to match your wedding decor, and you can just give it a spray and you are good to go. And then before I stuck it in the cake, I actually wrapped in a little bit of saran wrap, and then I stuck it into my cake, and then there you have it. You have your beautiful cake topper that took like literally just a few minutes to make.
I love it. Okay, and you know, not only do I love the ingenuity of that, but it's also a custom keepsake, which is lovely. Now, if you want to head to a beautiful altar on a budget, what can you do?
Okay, so here we have our beautiful, this is what I actually threw together with some florals that I had at home, as well as some florals that I got from the craft store, and then I got some fabric from my local fabric store. And it's really, you know what, with this, just go big, in my opinion. And so I added this lovely, you know me, I added these lovely cascading flowers, which I think are super adorable, and add that, just that factor to your backdrop. And so all you need to do is take, you know, your flower stem that you would get, just pop them off, just like so, put them aside. And the secret to making it look like they're invisible and floating in air is the fishing line. So you just go to your local store, your sporting goods store, you can get that fishing line. I like to tie off the end. This is so when you're making a number of them that you're kind of, this is like your guide to where you want to start off to make sure they're kind of even. And so then you get started. So with some of the flowers, it depends on what type of effect you want to go with, right? So if you want to have your flowers facing out, what I suggest you do is just tying the fishing line around the back of the flower and just secure it like so, and just tie it really tight. And because it is fishing line, you're going to have to give it a couple of knots, and then you're good to go, right? You're on to, you can go on to the next one. So see how that's facing you, right? So if you want to go ahead and get the effect where, you know, your flower is actually going to be facing downward like so, this is a technique that you can use if you're using real flowers. As well, coordinations actually look really beautiful with a backdrop like this. All you got to do is just get a embroidery needle, and because the loop is actually big enough to fit the fishing line, so that's why I suggest using that. And you just thread that through, and then you would tie it off. Tie a little knot just so it stops. And you could also add some glue as well, using a glue gun to ensure that it stops and that it doesn't go through on you there. And then there you go.
Cute.
Okay, so do you see how the difference, see Daisy, you see the difference in the way that they hang? And I spaced mine about 12 inches apart. And you just keep on going until you get the length. I used 6 flowers for this. This took us from the top basically to the bottom, and then you make as many as you need, and there you have it. You just tie them on the back of the, you could secure it on your gazebo. We had a gazebo in our backyard, which is great. Or if you have another structure that you can use, you just go ahead and secure it. You may have to tape it or nail it up, and boom, you have it. Just so beautiful.
Listen, professional looking decor that you DIY'd. We're always so impressed. Thank you so much, Mo. Gorgeous DIYs.
Yeah, no problem.
And if you want the step-by-step directions to make them yourselves, head over to cityline.tv.